Peace and blessings, everyone. This is our IG Live. We're having one, obviously, every single day of this week, beginning at this particular time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's in a celebration of my appearance day, which is July 21st. And on that particular day, July 21st, at 4 p.m., the Into the Now Summit, saying yes to you, is going to be happening. But all this week, I'm going to be inviting special guests to come in to speak to their sacred yes. You know, what did they have to overcome to come into their yes? And whatever conversation emerges from that. And so today, we have Karen Ward Ross we're going to talk to, and I'm going to introduce her to you in just a moment. We're going to invite her in. While I'm inviting her in, let me tell you who she is. Actress, producer, writer, global content creator. Her television acting credits include guest starring and reoccurring roles on shows as BET The Game, HBO Entourage, Jane the Virgin, Lucifer on Fox, among other shows. There she is right there.
Hi, Abba.
How are you? I'm just kicking your credentials.
My dogs are saying yes to you as well.
Well, we love dogs.
We do love dogs. Dogs are God spelled backwards, so it all works out.
Right, and we have a whole animal ministry at Agape, so we're in love with all the pets. But I'm just reminding people as to who you are, and I also am reminding them that you're the series regular on Bounce TV's Grown Folks, nominated for Best Actress in a Comedy Series by the Indie Spirit Awards, the executive producer and writer of the provocative relationship drama series, Craig Ross's Junior's Monogamy, and All Black TV. You've been doing so much. Mm-hmm. And she's the founder. You are the founder of this and the CEO of Meditations. And I have some of that tea, by the way.
Yes.
With Karen, a high vibrational, premium, loose leaf tea company centered on intentional living. But I think people need to know I met you when you were 3 years young.
Yes. But I have to start by saying I am so honored to be here. And what's funny is moments before we started this live, my ring light broke, right? Because, I have a ring light for this presentation. And I thought, what a beautiful metaphor for what you've been in my life, because I had two choices. I can go and panic, or I could just stay centered. And I think that is the legacy you've given to me all these years in terms of just knowing the truth no matter what. I mean, I did have a moment, and my mom was probably on this live, but I said, you know what? God is showing up, showing out. So that ring light doesn't compare to this light. So let's go ahead and let it shine. So that's what we're doing. So
wait, you're looking fantastic. So
I feel fantastic. Thank you.
Since you shouted out your mom, I need to say who your mom is. Your mom is Reverend Cheryl Ward, who's had and continues to have a tremendous life career.
Yes.
And education in the legal justice system, and as a minister here at Agape International Spiritual Center. And it was her that brought you to my office years ago.
Yes.
You were 3. And for some powerful prayer sessions.
Yes.
That has basically changed everybody's life in a very powerful way. And here I am interviewing her daughter.
Yes. You've seen me through it all, Abba. I mean, every seminal moment in my life, from, the prodigal daughter when I had my rough teenage years, when I'm sure my mom was calling you a lot for prayer.
I remember those
fortunately,
days.
we got through that, but you held the field for me so that I could come back in to an alignment with who I am. And so the other thing is, T, I grew up with T from my mother, who is I have to shout her out, the creator of the Oath of Manifestation.
Right.
And I grew up with meditation because of you. So my T is a combination of meditation. It's T and meditation. And so it was really important for me to make sure that you got that, because so much of who I am as a woman, so much of what I've been able to learn and love about myself comes from you. So yes, this is going to be a big love fest. I'm just letting y'all all know that's what's happening here for you.
Well, God bless you. You said something about your troubled teens and going through that, and it reminds me, that religious people don't want to go to hell, but spiritual people have already been there.
Right, for sure. And back again, exactly.
Yeah, people that come to understand the spiritual nature of reality have gone through some dark moments.
Yes.
And discovered that there's a light in those dark moments.
Mm-hmm.
And that as we get refined by our dark moments, we emerge more buoyant, more luminous, more beautiful, more wonderful. So we're not trying to stop from going to hell from an eternal damnation that doesn't even exist.
Yes.
We move through it and allow life to shape-shift us in a way that we become better versions of ourselves, which is what you've done. I mean, I have to say, I'm proud of you.
Thank
you. Know,
you.
you're just, you're married, and Craig Ross Jr. is the individual that you're doing this series with.
That you married us 10 years ago.
Right. You just had your anniversary. You've got children, and you got a full-on career.
Yes.
And you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you're staying close to your spiritual roots, which I imagine keeps you very balanced in all of the stuff that you have to do.
It does. And you know what's coming to me is something that you always say, that, headlines are a prayer request. And that applies both in the media and what we see on CNN and in newspapers, but also the headlines of my life. And so I'm really coming to a place where I feel so good. I feel so good. It took a lot to get here. I went through that proverbial hell as you spoke about, but it's really just anchoring that knowingness that it's something new is trying to emerge through me. Yes. And that's constantly what I'm asking myself, with the help of, my mother also, who's a huge influence. And so I want to just, in this moment, if you allow me, to have this very public love letter to you, Abba, my Godfather, for the life that you live and the yes that you've said. I'm sorry. I told myself that I was not going to get emotional on this live. Because I had been, over the years, trying to figure out a way, and you probably, have noticed my random text messages to you. It says, Abba, I love you, or thank you. But thinking of a way to truly impart to you from my heart the impact that you've had. And I think that I am just a microcosm of the macrocosm, right? Y'all on this feed, give me an amen, a whoop whoop. I see some hearts.
They're talking to you.
Okay, great. Because your light and your life is so, there are no words. So I'm just honored to have this moment of exchange with you. Okay, we can carry on. Enough of my,
I am too. I mean, to look at you from a little girl through teenagers, through womanhood, and here I'm interviewing you because of the accomplishments that you have with your life. It's just very beautiful for me to witness that.
Thank you.
As you know, Wednesday we're doing a great summit.
Yes.
The Into the Now Summit, saying yes to ourselves, and that's our birthday. It's my birthday, but the gift is for everyone. It's free. So I wanted everyone to know that on Wednesday at 4 p.m.
Yes.
You go to agapelive.com today and register, and you'll get to be with Sterling Brown and myself doing an interview, Queen Afua, Danielle Laporte, Neil Donald Walsh, Don Miguel, and a number of others, Shaman Durek, Koya Webb. It's going to be a very powerful day, but it's the gift to the community, on honor of my birthday. But you said yes.
Yes.
I want to ask you two questions. How would you define your yes, if you could define it in words? I know it's something that's difficult to articulate.
Right.
And two, what did you have to overcome in order to embrace your full yes? I'm
going to borrow something, some iteration of what you said. It's ever expanding good. That is my yes. It's not getting snagged by the muck and the mire of race consciousness, human consciousness, day-to-day living. And it's okay to be present with it. And that's what I've learned, that it's okay to have the bad days, to have the fear, to have the doubts, and to use that as an opportunity to go deeper into my knowing. So that's yes for me. Yes is yes, and yes is more yes. And so it's ever expanding. And it's infinite. And like, we talk about, we know that the circumference is everywhere. I mean, there's no circumference because universal presence, God, infinite energy, love, whatever name we may ascribe to it, really doesn't capture it. That's just what we have access to with our language. But for me, God is infinite. So my yes is just perpetually stepping into that. What I had to overcome is a lot. And I'm still overcoming. And it's a beautiful, rough, textured journey of constantly kind of weeding out and pruning the lie, if you will, that may say I'm not good enough, that says that I don't belong here. That is a conversation that I have. I'm in a field as an actress, as a producer and a writer, where there is a conversation that says there's not enough. There's a conversation that says that there's only a few spots. And so I can align to that, or I can align to the truth and see myself the way that I'm seen, not through human eyes, but through the God presence eyes. And like you talk about, it's the eye, it's the seeing beyond the seeing, it's the hearing beyond the hearing, and it's even in your song that I jammed to on the treadmill, seeing the invisible, hearing the inaudible, so you can do the impossible. So it's constantly coming back to that life is in support of me, and that even the grit and gristle and the muck and the mire and the pain is all working for my highest good. And that's the fundamental core of who I am, because of you and because my mother, Reverend Cheryl Ward. Amen. So.
Amen. I'm gonna have to fast track you through the school of ministry, girl.
You know it's coming, Abba. You know it's coming. Let me get a couple more TV shows out my belt. Although my ministry is through my TV and my acting, but yes, I do feel called to that. You know that.
Yeah, I know. It's all in you. You know, we used to say that the apple doesn't fall from the tree, far from the tree. But because we're in a quantum reality, the tree doesn't far from the apple either.
There it is. See, I'm picking up what you're putting down. There it is.
But, so if you could summarize, you know, I mean, obviously, you get a perfect description of your overcoming, you know, and obviously the feeling tone of maybe not being good enough, or not being worthy, or not being seen. You know, how would you synthesize that into a fear? Was there any kind of fear that you had to transcend?
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Let me try and think of a tangible one. Not stepping out. My T was a big expression of overcoming that fear. I had a conversation of, well, you're an actress and you play in this lane and no one wants to hear all this spiritual woo-woo talk. So that was one expression of that. I'm trying to think of what else. There's so many. It's so intimate to me. It's something happened at 5 or 6. I made a decision about myself when and this is me being transparent and vulnerable with all of you on this live, when I repeated kindergarten. And what I communicated to myself on a human level was that I was being held back, that I lacked something, that people could see something that I couldn't. And my mother knows this, and we worked through this. And what I realized, the beauty of that is, even now, sometimes that conversation of you're missing something will creep up if I have a meeting, or if I'm trying to get my television show, or trying to audition for something. And it's really an opportunity to take a breath, to love myself into it, to let all the ooze and pus come out, and then eventually come to the truth. And now I'm standing taller, and my breath is deeper, and I'm more confident. So I look at it as a gift that's giving to me. Like, it didn't come to harm me, it came to expand me. So that's just one tangible example, if you will. And maybe, you know, those of us on the live have something in our lives where we made an unconscious decision. But that's the beauty of, you know, of this practice. And it's a practice. So
absolutely. And for those of you on the line, if you're new to what we're talking about, when she says she had to know the truth about her, she's talking about the truth of her being. She's talking about the fact that she's the image and likeness of the Spirit of God.
Yes.
And that wholeness is intrinsic to us. So there may be facts that don't square with the truth.
Yes.
But her practice is going back to the truth, which will ultimately change the facts. So if you're just getting new to the way we're talking here, many of you obviously follow Agape, you follow my Instagram line, so you know the language. But if you're new to the language, she used 2 words that I think you want to know about. One word was race consciousness. That means that's the collective belief of the human race, which may or may not be true.
Yes.
And when you look throughout history, the majority has always been wrong. Oftentimes, if you're walking with the majority, you're in the wrong spot.
Right.
Because the majority oftentimes gets bamboozled by the media, bamboozled by the status quo, gets bamboozled by the next great thing to be afraid of. So you have to pull yourself out of the collective consciousness and go to the truth of your being, which is what she was just announcing. Now, Karen.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you your age because I'm not interested. I'm not interested in age, and age is interested in me, and we don't do age.
Right.
What would you, at this stage of your unfoldment,
Yes,
and your evolution, what would you tell the younger version of yourself right now? If you could talk to your younger self that was going through some of those dark moments, what advice would you give that individual?
Oh, I would say, girl, it's gonna be all right. Like I really would. I would, you know what, honestly, I would listen to her a little more. I spent a lot of time trying to push it away, trying to drink it away, trying to party it away. I would just be in it, be like, hear it, because there's a gift in it. There's a gift in that pain. There's a gift in that struggle. So I would be present with her, and I would let her know that it's all going to be all right. And that's really what I'm feeling, and that's really what I'm living. Like I said, I'm not done. I'm not complete. There's more growing, more evolving, more expanding. But yeah, compassion.
Yeah.
Compassion.
Well, you're speaking of a spiritual principle, because if we can catch the feeling tone, I spoke about this yesterday in the service. Get to that feeling tone of it's okay and it's going to be okay, even if we don't have visual evidence of it.
Yes.
Even if there's no sensory evidence, can't see it, can't taste it, can't touch it, can't smell it, can't hear it. But if we can work ourselves into the feeling via prayer, meditation, life visioning, hanging with high consciousness people, high fellowship, study, if we can get to that feeling, then the universe bends itself to that feeling.
Yes.
But what happens is people keep looking for external evidence to feel.
Yes.
And what you're talking about is looking to the internal evidence.
And it's always been there, Abba. I mean, that is what's gotten me here. Like you said, on the quantum level, it already exists. But it's this sense of that my external situation cannot determine my ultimate destination. You know what I mean? And that's
say that again, Reverend.
I said my external situation cannot determine my ultimate destination. So there's something in me, there's some seed in me that has always known that. I just have been snagged by the lie that may have told me otherwise, which is okay, because it's all part of the divine unfoldment. And yeah, I'm using a lot of terms here, so just rock with me, y'all. Right. But you know, that's what my mother has always taught me. That's what you've always taught me, that you know, an apple seed doesn't get confused. It's not going to be a pear tree. So we keep planting those seeds in consciousness of what I want to see, of what I want to be. Even in my darkest moments, I still know that. I go back to that. I go back to the breath. I go back to that truth, that knowingness, that there is an intelligence that's beating my heart and all of our hearts on here. So it's got to get me through. It's got to get me through. And like my mom says, talk to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just get up and talk to yourself. Like, you know what? We're not going there. I had to do that this morning in my journal. And like, nope, we're not going there. So, and the oath of manifestation, her oath of manifestation is one tool that I use among many to help support that.
Yeah, I was getting ready to bring that up again. Do you have it right there in front of you?
It's on my phone, but I kind of have it memorized.
Give me the first couple of lines. I want people to feel the essence of it. I accept
and receive unexpected good, unexpected love, unexpected kindness, unexpected prosperity, unexpected offers coming in unexpected ways from unexpected people and unexpected places in my life and in the Rev's life and everybody's life on here. Yes.
So what she's reciting from, she's reciting from something called the Oath of Manifestation that was written, composed, put together by Reverend Cheryl Ward.
Yes.
Who's a minister at Agape here, the emeritus dean of our university, and just a great all-around being.
My wonderful mother. And I want to honor you, Abba, here on this live for the way that you love my mother and the way that you have honored my mother. So I am really taking this opportunity to go all in on your birthday. So thank you for the gift.
Thank you for being with me today. And I just felt so good. You know, it's like, I'm going to interview Karen.
I know.
I knew Karen since she was a baby.
Yes. And in my pregnancies, Abba, when, you know, called you when an emergent situation came about, like every pivotal moment you've been there, or just in consciousness, you've held me, and that means the world to me. So thank you for that, and happy birthday to you.
Tell them, thank you. Tell them why you call me Abba.
I call you. When did I start calling you Abba? Abba is father, and for those who don't know, our beloved Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith is my Abba. You've been in my life since I was, even knew I was conscious. And you have been that father figure, that presence for me in a huge and profound way. So that's why I call you Abba.
I thank you for being here. Just one last question.
Mm-hmm.
If you project yourself 5 years from now,
yes,
what vision are you holding for yourself?
That's a great question. My mind wanted to go to, external things, a couple of television shows that I'm creating that I plan on producing. Something is bringing me to just unapologetically, authentically standing in my power and my beauty and just shining that. So that to me looks like peace of mind, feeling good. I was in the drive-thru yesterday getting a matcha tea, and I had an opportunity to pay for the driver behind me and didn't want them to see me, so I sped off before they could see me, and it just felt so good. And so
Yes.
I say that to say that I can't wait I can do that on a mass level. I can just go in a grocery store and pay for the next 10 people. So that to me are the qualities that matter to me in the next 5 years, to have the resources and the consciousness to be able to give in that way while delivering my gifts,
Right.
acting, producing, writing, and yeah, so that feels good to me. I'm gonna stick with that answer.
No, that's a great. I love it. I love doing that. I sometimes would go to a restaurant and pay for somebody's meal.
Yes.
Somebody caught my attention, a family,
Yes.
but I make sure that the host or the hostess do not say where this is coming from.
Yes, exactly.
Just let them be surprised that somebody's paying for their meal. It just gives you a great feeling when you give out that kind of energy, because
Yes.
oftentimes people are lost in the sauce of getting all the time and acquiring, accumulating. But when you get in that flow of radiating and shining and giving and sharing, that's where the gift is. You see?
And just to cap it off, it's the question that you've always prompted in me and all of us, I think, is what am I here to do? How am I here to serve? So being able to do that in a larger capacity, to me, is living on fire. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like saying yes.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying yes to. And sometimes I'm just like, God, dog, life is good. Like, for real. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I finally get it now. What you've been talking about all these years. You know what I mean?
Yes. I remember when I was saying that decades ago.
Yes.
People were saying, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Life is
I
good.
know.
Did you see the headlines?
Right.
Yeah, I saw those prayer requests. What are you talking about? That doesn't hinder life with the capital L.
Right.
And I've stuck to it. And we've gone through, the human race has gone through different ups and downs of war and 9/11 and COVID.
And this grand pause, like you described,
right. So
COVID,
much.
Yeah. It's really our initiation into our greatest yet to be, collectively and individually. What do you say?
I said, speak it.
Yes, that's what it is. And Rev Ken, I see you on here too, shouting him out. And like you said something, Reverend Michael. You said the highest vibration always wins out, and it's always the truth. And so we are here to anchor. That's what my tea is about. Shameless plug. It's a liquid meditation.
No. It's not a shameless plug. I'm getting ready to ask you.
Yes.
Where can they get your meditation?
So that you can. It's intentional sipping and conscious imbibing. You can go to meditations.com, or if you go to my Instagram, I have a link there, and it'll take you right to.
Is it under Karen?
Yes, Karen Ward Ross. But I got my Conscious Connection Chamomile, which was born out of consciously connecting first to myself and then connecting to my beloved husband. So that's one of my favorites. But all of them are great, and great for the body, great for healing. So.
All right. Well, yes. I appreciate your entrepreneurial spirit. I appreciate your spiritual integrity. Yes. I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate the way that you're constantly working on yourself. I appreciate your mother. I appreciate our connection at Agape all of these years. And I appreciate that I get to sit here and interview my goddaughter and who I'm well pleased. So listen, give Craig my love.
I will.
Give the girls a hug from Abba.
I will.
And let me just remind everyone
Wednesday.
These IG lives, I'm doing a different one every single day. Tomorrow, me and Russell Brand are going to be speaking. at this same time, 1 p.m. And the next day would be Dr. B. Serious.
Yes. Yes.
Out of Atlanta, Georgia, very powerful teacher and herbalist, you see. And so there's going to be a number of people coming through. And of course, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be embracing our sacred yes with the Into the Now Summit. You've heard me say, and the reason I was talking about decades, because Sadhguru gave us a wonderful gift, a wonderful sharing. And he spoke yesterday about, I mean, we played the part of the video yesterday where he spoke about, Michael, you've been doing this for decades. And it hit me, decades. I never thought about it like that.
Yes.
You know why? Because I'm into the now.
Yes,
But
you're in the now.
when
I
you
can
said-
ask you one question before I let you go. You're asking everyone else the question. So.
Oh, you're doing a Sterling Brown, because I interviewed Sterling Brown the other day, and then
He
he
did
reversed
that?
it on me and started asking me questions, and they'll be able to see that on.
Sterling do Sterling. I'm doing a Cheryl Ward Ross, but no,
Okay.
So before we part, may I know for all of us here, what is this yes for you? What's the next yes for you?
There's an energy that's emerging in me right now, and it's the energy, I'll just say, of kingship. Is an energy of power that's coming through that I'm now embracing at a higher level. And I think that the maturity of who I am and the energy that I can carry now is not afraid of abusing or misusing the power that's now trying to come through. And so it's been coming through in different ways over the past year. And I had an initiation a couple of nights ago. Nirvana Gale came to me. And he was whispering in my ear. He was whispering in my ear. Lee Brown was standing next to him. And Nirvana Gale whispered in my ear, and he put this necklace around my neck. And I could feel it. I was in like half asleep, half awake. And I could feel the necklace on my chest. And he was telling me in substance, part with words, in part telepathically, that it was okay for me to step into this next iteration, that I'm not chasing success, that I am success.
Yes.
I'm not chasing anything.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything else to be okay with myself, and just to embrace it. And I could feel it in my being. And so I know that was like a cherry on the top of this energy that's trying to come through me, and I'm fully embracing it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I submit that all of us who are hearing this is true for all of us. That so resonates with me. I'm so excited for you. I'm so grateful for you. I love you. I'm celebrating your life, and I'm just happy I get to be on this earth with you at this time, as we all are. And we love you, Abba. I love you.
And thank you for your time. And we'll catch up a little bit later.
Okay.
This is Cheryl Ross. Cheryl Ward Ross.
Not Karen Ward Ross, right? My mom, Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl's her mother.
Reverend Cheryl, I love you.
Reverend Dr. Cheryl Ward is her mother.
Yes.
And this is Karen Ward Ross, meditations, actor, producer, writer, mother, wife, entrepreneur.
Starlight, twinkling.
Embracing the next stage of her iteration. She said yes, and her yes is perpetual. And we're saying to all of you today, say yes to life and say yes to yourself. God bless you.
Love you. Bye, Abba.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. See you.
I love it.